Hello, everybody, and happy end of September. I literally can't fathom like this whole month flew. And granted, it's like my favorite month of the year, but it was so fast. I had so much going on. But yeah, I had my birthday, obviously. I am 28 and happy to be here. And I think like the reason why I love September is just it's so happy. Like nothing could bring me down. Literally like nothing at work, nothing at home, nothing stressful like really brought me down just because it is my favorite month, but whatever. I'm kind of biased cuz it's my birth month, but here we are. So, now that the month is almost over, I think I mentioned this like the end of August, but I wanted to like kind of start like a monthly check in and figure out like my general goals for October. And it's not like a super strict list. I think I wanted to, especially October, it's like just the start of fall and all these super fun things that I love are coming and starting. I feel like that's kind of like, I want to say like goal slash bucket list of the month. So I want to start with that. And I think I am going to just carry over something from September that I definitely did not complete, and that is to finish two books. Now, I did read, granted, I read Throne of Glass, and again, a phenomenal author. It's such a different, like, storyline than it is with A Court of Thorns and Roses that I think it's taking me, like, extra slow to read everything. So I'm taking my time. And I read The Assassin's Blade, which I think it was actually like technically September. So I think I actually did finish reading two books, but I want to continue reading. And right now, I am currently reading Crown of Midnight. Fantastic book so far. I think the story, like I said, it's very story heavy and like less of the romance. So I do miss that. I think it's crazy because like I was not anticipating me being so obsessed with A Court of Thorns and Roses. And I, again, like everyone on TikTok, which book talk is a little crazy right now, but everyone on TikTok is obsessed with it. And I had like a really serious addiction to it for a second. And it's not that it's fading. Like I feel like I have a serious book hangover. And the thing is like the author even said she's coming out with her, I think the sixth book. And I think she just announced that it's coming out in like 2025. So lo and behold, I'm definitely gonna one reread the series before then because I'm definitely not gonna forget like what has happened, but I would 100% read it all over again. And two, it gives me more time to get through the Throne of Glass series. And she also has something else. It's like Crescent City, but I think I'm going to take a little break from Sarah J. Maas for a little bit and then I'll like come back to it. So, yeah, that's next on my list. And I think for October, I would like to still keep, I really like the whole two books a month. I think that keeps me grounded without like stressing me out. So, I think I'm going to add that. I'm literally writing this down as we speak. I'm going to read two books again because I think it's done a lot for me. Like, it was enough that it even distracted me from like getting bored and buying something when I'm bored. I think it's at least like buying the books, granted, is a little expensive. Like, even the physical copies, but I've been doing this thing where I get like the ebook and then if I like it, I get the physical book as like a quote unquote trophy, as my manager would call it, and I would just keep it. So that's why like I don't know if right now I'm gonna buy the physical books for like the entire Throne of Glass series, but I probably will, like just knowing myself. But yeah, that's definitely going to be on my to-do list. I think the last time too, I had mentioned that I was going to take 3 to 4 Pilates classes, which I think I only took 3, but it was still in my goal list and I loved it. I loved it so much that I actually like signed up for a 12-month membership, but I'm not going to lie to y'all, it is like stupid expensive and I'm like half regretting it just because like I think I could have just bought the classes like whenever I wanted to do it, but here I am and I'm going to add that again because I want to take maybe not 3 to 4. I think I said 3 to 4 last month. I think I'm going to actually go ahead and put 5 to 6 Pilates classes. And a lot of that is like, well, one, I'm paying for that already. And two, it's available. So that's something I'm like trying to transition out of. I think I'm focusing more on like overall toning because I think like the weakest part of my body is my core. And I feel like your core is involved with literally everything. I think that it's a major part of just stability in general when you're working out. So I want to explore Pilates more and like try to add that more into my routine because I think that yes, I do work out, but I think I could use more strengthening in the core area to just help my body focus on like whatever I'm working on. Because I literally went to this bar class. It's like literally like if you think of a ballet studio, it's just that bar that like surrounds the entire room and we use it to work out. We didn't use all of it like the whole time. We also did like body strength training and oh my god, it like literally it destroyed. I couldn't walk for like 3 days. And I think that like it's a good sign because not that I can get, you know, sore from just strength training because you can always get sore just by like going up in weight or like doing a different workout, but I was like sore for very different reasons and I think just like how my body felt after it was like completely different. So I think that like I would like to keep up with it. We'll see, just given the cost, but I'm stuck with it for 12 months. I don't know how strict they are with that, but I am quote unquote stuck with it for 12 months. So we shall see. Another thing for October that I think I really would love to try to make are 2 things. One is fairly easier than the other. I think the first thing I want to do is make a pumpkin shaped sourdough loaf. And this is thanks to one of my best friends, Noelle. She sent me a TikTok and it was literally just like a sourdough bread in the shape of a pumpkin. And I was like, yes, I'm definitely making like probably 2 or 3 of those this month because why not? It's so cute. So gonna do that. And I need to write that down because I'm gonna forget. And I think the second thing I want to do is also make a pie. I know that's in very much like fall spirit, but I really would love to. I think like the last time I made a pie, excluding cheesecake, because I've made a cheesecake before. The last time I made one was probably I still lived at home, I think, and that was like 5 years ago, if not more. And yeah, I really loved, well, first of all, I really like making cheesecake. It's really fun. You have to bake it in like a pan full of water. It's called a water bath. And I'm just obsessed with it because one, it's super easy to make. And two, I have a mixer now. So definitely want to do that more often because I feel like I just don't. Like, I literally asked for a mixer and I think I've used it like twice. So would love to use it more. And it's just that like, so obviously it's just me and my husband who it's just the 2 of us. If I'm going to make a whole pie, who the hell is going to eat it? Like, okay, maybe If nobody eats it, my husband will, but that's the problem. Like, that is the actual problem. We're gonna have dessert stuck in the fridge, and it's just tempting, you know? Like, I want to make sure whatever I make, it's still on the healthy side, but I really quite honestly don't know how healthy it's gonna get because desserts, obviously, like, they're already not healthy to begin with, but I would just love to try to make one. We actually just found a local market a little bit closer to our town. I think it's like 15 to 20 minutes away. And I was just so cutified by it. Like, I love the local market, and I think I just don't go there that often. I feel like I should. Like, I don't know, just for like local things. We actually bought this, I think it was a mango peach jam. And Marcos is so funny. He was like, I don't like jam. And I'm like, you probably don't like it because the only jam you get is like strawberry jam. And he hates strawberries. So I'm like, okay, let me just get this and see if you like it. Like, you never know. So I got it. And obviously, like, I feel like I'm less picky than him. No offense if he's listening. But I obviously loved it because I'll eat anything. But I was like, okay, just give it a shot and see. So he tried it and he made that little like smirk where he knew I was right. Like, I think we both loved it. So I think that it made me a little excited just for like that local market because it is their local jam that they made. But yeah, they even have apple cider and their donuts, and they occasionally like do those things where they do give them out in bulk and everything. And I'm just excited for that. So that is also going on my list. Bake a pie. I think, like, out of all the pies, I think I would lean towards apple, mainly because it's something that both of us like. If I had to choose, like, personally, and I'm probably still going to make one, it will be a pumpkin pie because, duh, like October, pumpkins, what is a better combination? So, yeah. And I feel like a lot of my goals this month are around food, and I think it's hilarious, but also like so me. I think another thing I want to, I guess, learn how to make or start doing, because making it is really easy. I want to start drinking matcha more often instead of coffee. And it's not that I hate coffee. I just feel like sometimes like I'm drinking coffee just for the taste and it's not necessarily like enjoyable for me, if that makes sense. I really do enjoy a good matcha. And whether it's matcha latte or an iced matcha latte, like I love it all. So unfortunately, the only ones that I am used to are the super sweet ones from Starbucks, and I know that that's not healthy for you. So I had to figure out ways to make it taste somewhat sweet because I know matcha like sometimes is very, I don't want to say bitter, but it has a certain taste that like, you know, you kind of have to get used to, one, and two, if you're not into like super dry green tea, I don't know how else to explain it besides that, you need some sort of sweetener. So yeah, I'm gonna want to do that. So I'm writing that down as we speak. And I would love to learn how to do that because I think like, again, it's something that like I have but don't use. Like I have a milk frother and I don't use it. Shout out Ninja Coffee. And I think that like that would be great to do. And another thing I think that I would like to, and this is the last one with food, I promise. The last thing I want to do in October is to use seasonal vegetables to make a meal. And that could be anything. I think it's like squash or pumpkin or I don't know if there's any other seasonal vegetables. There's probably so much more, but something like that with those vegetables because I love a good, there's something in the Philippines called kalabasa, and I think I said that right this time. It's basically this coconut milk simmered with squash, and sometimes they use pork, sometimes they use chicken. They throw okra in there, and it's so good. Like that tastes like home. and it just feels like a warm hug. And I'm just so excited for fall. Like, it's crazy. I feel like I am hyping up, the season way more than it is. But honestly, like, I feel like, I don't know, last year didn't really feel like a fall. I don't know, like, it wasn't cold enough, and like even winter was kind of So I don't know. But I think that's just tied around like pre-wedding stress. So I think now that it's like, not too much pressures, I think that that's going to be like a pretty fun fall and winter season. And I just love that I feel like grown up with such fear of like not having anything planned. And I feel like this is the first year, honestly, where I just don't have like set in stone things to do or things to plan, that it feels a little relieving. One, but it feels nice to not like be anxious about it. And I've been contemplating like what changed, and I think just a lot of it is like my acceptance of that, like the acceptance of peace, quiet, free time. And it still happens sometimes, and granted, it probably will happen again, but my serious anxiety attacks, I feel like have been getting a lot better. And honestly, like, I think a lot of it has to do with my birth control. I stopped taking it just because I think I mentioned this in a last episode, but I might have forgotten. I stopped taking it because I hate how it makes me feel. It makes me feel like I have brain fog all the time, and I really wish like I was smart enough to come up with something that isn't a hormonal birth control or isn't like an IUD or something, just something that's more like women friendly, because I feel like maybe it's not true like 100%, but I feel like a lot of the birth control products are just not actually good for women. So, yeah, that's my little 5 cents on that. So, in terms of food and I guess like reading and fitness, I have those goals. I would love to go to a sunflower field. I don't know what they're called out here, but I've never been to one. And that's definitely like on my bucket list. I would love to do that. And I would also love to go like apple picking, obviously, which kind of ties with the apple pie situation. I can go get apples from this place to make my apple pie. So definitely adding that to the list. I love just like picking fresh fruit, and I think it's so fun. I've been trying to make a long-term goal of just like trying to make as many things homemade as possible, and I think making bread from home was really such a accomplishment for me, because I don't even eat a lot of bread like that, but I do eat bagels and I do eat toast, and I do like I like bread for breakfast. I'm not really a sandwich girly, but even knowing that I can make that and it's accessible at home and I can make it in 2 business days, because I mean, it does take a while to make, I'm not gonna lie. It takes like 2 days because you have to spend a whole day like letting it rest, and then, you know, kneading it every 30 to 45 minutes and then letting it rest overnight, and it's a full day and a half. So it's nice though. I think it's nice that you put in that work and you get to indulge in what you make. So I feel like that's generally like a similar feeling when it comes to home cooked things. So I've been working on that and looking forward to that. So that's the last of food. I promise I'm going to stop talking about food. I feel like 20 minutes in and we're already hungry. So yeah. On the, I think, like hobby side, besides books and more Pilates, I really, really still want to find a side hustle that I really enjoy. And I think the options here are endless, but I have so many things to explore that I think like I want to find a passion of doing. And baking, I think, is one of those things. It's like untouched potential. Like I know it's there and I could explore it and learn things from it, but I want to even also use my Cricut for things, and whether it be like personal crafts or like home decor, I think that I want to explore that option. I feel like home decor gets very expensive sometimes, and especially like Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas, like all the holidays you want to decorate. And I'm a huge decorator, and I just love like September to February in terms of decorating. So I want to see what I can do and then see if that'll help me get somewhere else. So we shall see. Have to write that down too. And I think that ties up most of it. I'm going to have to come back to this and rethink. But I guess like financially, I just want to like continue cutting down my debt and everything I've pretty much spent the past 4 years, because it is painful not being able to really invest in the future when you're too busy like cleaning up from the past. So that's just constantly on my list, and nothing really there to say besides that it's still there. So yeah, that is October in a nutshell. We shall see what happens, and I want to be more, I think, mindful of just like doing things when I have the time to like really be present and like, I don't know, go to a winery and like sit by the fire. That's something I really love doing. So I plan on doing that. But yeah, I think like, especially because it's so cold and it's just super hard to like stay consistent. I feel like I'm already feeling it, and it's only the end of September. Like I would wake up and just, I cannot get out of bed. I would either fall back asleep or like just sit there and wallow and like not get up and go to the gym. And I think that already it's not even that cold outside. It's already affecting me. So that's something I'm going to have to look out for. And even if I don't, I'm going to have to go in the evening. Like not going in the morning is like not an excuse. And I want to try to make sure that I don't use that as an excuse. So I have been going a little bit more in the evening. And I think it's not bad, but like it's still pretty shitty because like sometimes it's full and you got to wait on things and you can't really like, I don't know, I feel rushed a little bit, but right after work is such a good feeling. Like you're tired from sitting all day and like you have a headache because you're staring at your screen, and it's like good ways to take out just like pent up energy. So it felt good. I think that like I'm always going to vouch for a workout in the morning because I just personally need to have a workout like checked out for the day to feel productive, which again, it's something like just because you don't work out in the morning doesn't mean you're not productive, but it's something that I'm working on. And I think that especially as it gets colder, like I want to make sure I am still invested in my fitness because the sun's starting to, hide away a little bit. It's going to start getting darker. Like I think I had dinner at like 5 p.m. and then it was nice and sunny when we went in, obviously. Literally it was like 7. And the time we were leaving at 7, it was like so dark. And I was like, what the heck? It's not even October yet. Like this is what I have to look forward to. Next thing you know, by the time like Thanksgiving comes around or December, honestly, in Jersey specifically, the sun like starts setting at, from what I remember, like 4:30, which is crazy. Like I'm not even out of work by then. So that's why I want to prioritize like going in the mornings, because even though the sun goes down earlier, the sun goes up earlier too. So I feel like that's a good incentive to go in the morning, because then you kind of like wake up with the sun and it's a good feeling. Like it's just nice. Like I feel like the reason why people are so down and depressed in the wintertime is because we don't get to have the sun time. Like how crazy is that we just work all day and then never see the sun once? So I want to do that. And I think like when the new year comes around, we're actually moving to a new building for my job. It's like completely just strictly for our company instead of sharing it with someone else, because that's how the building is right now. There's 22 floors and all 22, there's got to be like 4 or 5 other companies sharing this building. So definitely want to do that. And I think that is something I want to prioritize, especially as it's getting colder. I think that when it does get cold, as humans, we feel the need to hibernate, and it's totally normal. It's not a bad thing. It's just our human behavior, because we are, at the end of the day, still an animal. And animals like to cuddle up and stay warm when it's cold out. Totally understandable. But I want to make sure I keep up with it because it honestly, genuinely makes me happy. So that is what it is. And what also makes me happy is the fact that I am working on transitioning from like high-end clothing to, I guess, nothing crazy clothing. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm going through this also transition period of just like, why do I need said clothing? I think that I've been spending a lot of time like going through my stuff, and I have a lot of stuff. I think that a lot of that stuff is stuff that I just accumulated because of the fact that I wanted to have all these things. And I think like just being another year older, another year wiser, I think that it's just made me realize that like I spent so much money on just like one thing. Now there's a difference between like spending $7 on many things that don't last long versus like one thing that cost 500. Oh my God. Like out of all numbers, I picked 500. One thing that costs like 150 that actually lasts you for years. And I think that I'm kind of in that situation where I'm trying to, be more aware of what I'm buying and what quality it is. So I love Shein. Don't get me wrong. Shein, I have a problem with. One being, honestly, the only reason I'm like weirdly allergic to certain materials. And it's so weird because it's not like the same material gives me the same allergies. It's like very specific. It's like I don't know the texture. It's like similar to satin, but not really. But it's normally like that texture, but for tops. If that texture is like a bottom, like pants, it doesn't bother me at all. And then I break out into like these rashes under my arms. I'm like, what the heck is happening? So that's like the biggest reason why I kind of have to get away from Shein, and it sucks, but like, I don't know. I also feel like the items are hit or miss sometimes, and that's where I get frustrated because like, okay, I do get like 40 items for $300 instead of 2 items for 150 somewhere else, but like some of these things are hit or miss, and it either doesn't fit me right or I hate it, or like literally after 2 wears it's gone, or like it's see-through, or it's cheap material, and it's things like that. So I feel like I've been leaning towards like H&M. I feel like H&M is Shein, but I feel like the materials are a little bit better. And listen, like to each their own. I love Shein, but it's giving me so much allergy. So I've been trying to explore that. And I really want to get back into thrifting. I feel like there's so many clothes out there that people don't use, they throw out or they donate to these places. Plato's Closet is phenomenal. I've gotten like a few pieces of clothing from there, and I think I want to explore that because I just, consumerism and just like buying new things when there's already pre-existing things. I feel like and I think it's crazy because like some of the things for fall fashion have come for full circle, and that includes like the color red, and like I think I saw something about cheetah print coming back. No thank you, I'm not going to be wearing cheetah print, but I had a lot of cheetah print stuff back in the day. So you're telling me if I didn't throw that out and I could have worn it right now, like I would be considered fashion? Because that's crazy. Like that's what I'm saying. No, I feel like fashion is nice, but it's also this unfortunate cycle of like having to buy more things just to, quote unquote, keep with the time. So that's something I want to do. I want to invest more in things that actually you can wear multiple times. I feel like the shirts that I would get or the pants that I would get, it's something that I only imagined for like a day or two. And then, like basically finding different pieces of clothing that work well with different combinations. And I think that was something that I feel like I didn't really pay attention to when I was buying stuff back in the day. So I just have all these like random things that just don't work well together. And I think I want to start, I don't know, like dressing up a little bit. And it's not like, I have to wear a work dress and high heels and, expensive things to go to work, but not like jeans and like a shirt that I've had from middle school, if that makes sense. Jeans are still great, don't get me wrong, but there's a certain like way to dress yourself to make you look like your age. And I think I'm still kind of like figuring that out. And a lot of like stuff that I threw out was like, what did I throw out? I don't even remember at this point. I think I threw out like, honestly, I'm not a fan of the skinny jeans anymore. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I know all the millennials listening are hurting, and that was just pain to hear, but I don't know. There's something about skinny jeans that honestly, like, I don't think I ever really liked. And I think because I didn't pay attention to what I like, what I like to wear or like what matches my body. Because of that, I feel like I just kind of resorted to skinny jeans. And I've been so about like wide-legged pants, straight pants, high-waisted, and I think that suits me better, but no hate against skinny jeans, no hate at all. I think it's just like it's better for my body shape, and that's another thing I'm working on too. Like I want to figure out ways to like up my closet without spending too much, but also making sure it actually works with my body. I think the past year and a half, I've been kind of like straying away from what I want my body to look, aka the body shape. That's, not to be negative, but like some people's bodies are just not shaped a certain way, and mine is that way. So I want to embrace it more, to embrace it in the shape that it already is. And I think that, as anyone in our age right now, I feel like we're kind of starting to grow into our shell a little bit, especially those in your older 20s. And I think like all these little things that used to matter just don't. And I think like, I don't know, like buying an expensive $90 shirt or $50 shirt just doesn't matter to me anymore. Like I would rather spend 20 on a thrifted shirt, or honestly, like not even buying it at all. And that's crazy to me. I think it's normal. Like our goals have changed and whatever. So I definitely want to do that. And I think that same behavior is something I want to keep at home too. I feel like my room, especially like growing up, it was always full of stuff. Like I told you, I'm a stuff girly. I would be hoarding things, just like anything I get, I keep and put it away, and you forget that it's there. And next thing you know, all your drawers are stuffed and your closet is stuffed. I'm pretty sure at my old apartment, like my closet was about to break in half because the rod that was holding all this stuff was like bending pretty bad. And I'm pretty sure I could have put more, but very high potential that would have broken. So I want to like kind of apply that to home too. I feel like there's stuff that I used to want to just have around that I think, we don't need. And even decorations and house decor and everything, like simple is better to me. I feel like having that simple look actually makes you look cleaner. And I think that's why like I'm trying to also apply that to my outfits and just how I look and just everything in life, because I don't need, like, for example, I don't really need to get the most expensive device out there. If there's something that like works the same, the best example is a Dyson. And I think it's ridiculous that a Dyson is honestly like, let me look that up right now because I don't even know how much it costs right now. Like, you can't tell me I'm going to buy a $600 like Dyson Airwrap, because that is craziness. You do know that this Airwrap is like literally I can't believe that it's like that much. I'm actually like, I forgot that it was this much. I just I don't think that's worth it for $600. If you're getting it as a gift, all props to you. Like, I just personally wouldn't. And there's other air wrap like brands out there that just don't have the word Dyson attached to it for like a quarter, if not less than a quarter of its price. So just things like that. And not that I'm saying like get the knockoff brand every single time, but there are other options. And I think like even with skincare, I feel like a lot of the stuff I use isn't really that expensive. And I almost get like, because honestly, TikTok merchandising is craziness. Like, I feel like lately on TikTok specifically, all I see is people selling stuff, and it's so hard not to want to buy everything. So, that is the thing. Like, I feel like because we're so surrounded by consumerism and like just everyone reviewing things, it's just this constant pressure of like trying to buy as much as possible. There's somebody on TikTok that, I kid you not, it was like, come with me to get ready for a day at Disney and pack my Stanley with me. And I was like, what? Pack your Stanley? Like, this is a cup. It's a literal cup. What are we packing in the cup? And lo and behold, to my surprise, they were definitely packing the Stanley Cup, like clipping shit to it. There's a little bag, like a little, like, I don't know, look like a goodie bag, like clipped to the handle, in the handle, like, you know, on the handle in that bag, you put something in there and like clip your sanitizer. I'm like, there is no way I'm holding a loaded Stanley all around Disney World. Like, there's no way. I feel like that was just a way to like sell everything. And everything she packed on that Stanley was linked in her bio. And granted, like, it hooks people. It really hooks people. But listen, I'm going to tell you right now, you don't need it. I promise you. You only want the satisfaction of buying because somebody else said to buy it. I'm sorry. I think it's just so comical. Like, you cannot tell me to spend that much to pack my Stanley. I'm sorry. Like, I'm such a hater for that, but that's just extreme to me. And it works. Like, it does hook people. And if you want to make money, like, I'm trying to get on that too. But I feel like if it comes to the point where I'm excessively buying things just to promote it and get people to also buy, it's like a tricky middle field because you end up like spending just so you can promote, and you have to be really lucky with that. And I think like with the right amount of marketing you can, but if it's like your side job, it's almost, I feel like it's really difficult to get there, but people do it. And listen, if that's the route you want to take, by all means, I think it's great. Just don't send me TikToks of you packing your Stanley because I will not be buying a Stanley for that. But there's a ton of stuff out there. But that's why I think that being simplistic is kind of like helping me, because I see these things and like realize I don't actually need them. And I feel like it's been helpful in that way because there's so many things on TikTok shop, like sweaters with ghosts on them, reading Akatar books, which I admittedly gave in. I gave into that and I bought it. But things like that. And then they also sell like this Medicube skincare, which I think it's a solid deal, but I don't know. I feel like TikTok's all like that nowadays. It's been so hard because like I don't want to see them. I don't want to be like I don't know if anybody else is seeing the same thing, but I am so tired of hearing about the Halara pants. If I see one more TikTok, I swear to God, every other TikTok I watch is somebody wearing the Halara pants. I'm like, okay, I get it. And granted, I bought 3 pairs, but I get it. But back to Halara, like that's another example too. I feel like when it comes to like outfits that you want to mix and match, it's okay to spend a little bit like more than the cheap price if it lasts long. So like these Halara pants I tried on and I feel like they're definitely gonna last, and I think that that was worth buying. So it's just hard. Like because of that, I'm getting rid of my Shein pants because, again, they just don't sit right with me. So that's something I was trying to like figure out too. But yeah, I think that with all these things, I would like to try to learn how to do that as the year's ending and like bring that into the new year and kind of like focus my money elsewhere. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. This was such a fun episode. I hope you're as excited for October as I am because it's my second favorite month of the year. So stay tuned for everything in October. Let me know in the comments where you guys are going for October and what you're planning for October. I would love to hear about it. And just give me a follow if you ever want to keep up with all my life things. But yeah, I shall talk to you guys next week. And happy spooky season!